Hi everyone, this is Josie Howard from the Little Birdie magazine. This is our agent profile review. We haven't done one for quite a while actually because we all had a really long Christmas break, but I'd like to welcome Sean Breitkreutz from Belle Property. I got it right, German name, but I got it right. How are you today, Sean?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
That's good.
For a Monday.
For a Monday. Doesn't feel like a Monday, does it?
No. For us, it's kind of, the end of the week, so.
Yeah, true. And your follow-up day, I guess, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, I'll just do a little shout out first of all to Townsville Brewing Company, who make some great craft beers, which we're enjoying on this bit early in the week, but a Monday afternoon because it's Monday afternoon.
Nothing wrong with that.
In Townsville. Now, tell me a little bit about how your career started in real estate.
Yeah, so actually made a shift from the car sales world over to working for a real estate agency, a little tiny boutique agency. I wanted a little bit more of a lifestyle shift. I want to have a little bit more freedom.
You have more freedom with real estate?
It sounds strange, yeah. A lot of people thought that going into real estate it would chew up more time, but you'd be surprised. The car sales world is just absolutely hectic. You kind of chain to the desk. So I've got two little ones and I just wanted to have the freedom to be able to do the drop-offs and pickups and be able to attend different things that they do. And
are they really little? Are they back to school today? Because this is the day a lot of kids are back to school. Mine are tomorrow. But...
Actually, the oldest one's just gone into his first day of high school, which seems really weird. Yeah, grade 7.
Wow.
And Zali's grade 3.
They're not that little then.
Yeah, it is because 11 and 7 is still pretty young, but yeah.
Sort of, yeah. I've got one going into year 8 tomorrow, and I know that he's just gone into a size 10 shoe. So apparently tonight I have to somehow find somewhere open that's selling school shoes so we can get a pair of shoes before school tomorrow.
Gotta love it.
A bit of a crazy start to the year. So look, this is the year of love. So this is the Water Rabbit year, which started yesterday, Sunday. What is it that you love about property and selling properties?
I like the variations. That no two properties are exactly the same, despite sometimes when you look in the pictures and they do. But everyone's experience is different. Although the properties are different, the areas are different. I like that there's no repetition for me. I get to do something new every day. Get to meet someone new. That's probably the thing that I love about it most.
And how long have you actually been in the real estate?
It's officially been 6 years. In fact, it's Valentine's
6
Day.
years?
So,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. By the time this magazine goes out, you'll probably hit your anniversary.
Absolutely.
So it has been a while. How have you seen the trends change in Townsville? So you've obviously now sat in real estate for quite a while.
And from a marketing perspective or just...
More from a trending, from I guess a sales perspective. I moved here only 4 years ago, and you could see the market about to boom, if that makes sense. Property was very undervalued at that point, and I'd obviously come out of a slump after about 10 years of a bit of a slump. Suddenly, properties were starting to achieve some really good prices, and then through COVID. Townsville became pretty popular with Southerners.
Absolutely. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. When I first started, it took me nearly 9 months to get the monkey off my back. And the very first sale I made, it fell over on a building and pest issue. That was really frustrating. But
you stuck at it.
Yeah, that's how it goes. But I don't know. I think a combination of things happened as technology changed. We were better able to adapt for things that we didn't even know were coming up. So from a personal perspective, we were getting right stuck into the technology and shooting videos and doing all these kinds of things before we really knew that we needed it. And then, of course, just before COVID, things were starting to ramp up. And then basically after the COVID period opened up, it was like the floodgates were open, which is a terrible analogy to utilize in Townsville. But, but surprisingly, actually, after the flooding side of things, it blows me away, but places like Idalia and areas that were flood affected are selling for as well.
Went on great trajectories of increasing sales.
As well, if not better than ever before.
Well, we came just after the floods.
Yep.
So it was during that recovery period, about 6 months after that recovery period, which extends for years, right? I know some builders who are still working on, remediating houses that were flooded. But as you said, it's really interesting that some of those areas that were flooded are achieving some of the best prices in Townsville.
Yeah, I think in general, people realize that the location hasn't changed and people want to be really close to the city and, of course, the new stadium and all the other great things that go along with that location. But they're ultimately ending up with homes that are nearly brand new and ultimately, while no one can predict what might happen in the future, at the end of the day, those properties, if it was to happen again, I think we've learned something from the last time anyway. You'd hope that we've learned something from the last time. So.
Keep a lot of vinegar in the cupboard, probably.
Too true.
Funnily enough, I worked for a vinegar company during those floods. So what would your best pick areas be? Like, so we'll go through a couple of scenarios. If you were looking at flipping a house, what sort of areas would you be looking to buy in?
As a general rule, I find that you absolutely can't go wrong in the 4810 postcode and even potentially the 4812 postcodes as you sort of start to stretch out a little bit. 4810 obviously being central to the city.
Yeah, so that includes the city, North Ward, Castle Hill, Rose Bay, Palaranda,
West End, areas like that.
West End.
You're already
Not Garbutt,
seeing it.
Interestingly, but Garbut's just that.
Actually, you'd be surprised in Garbutt as well. I'm actually noticing
prices go.
A lot of the
cottages,
a lot of the cottages that used to be in there that you might have bought for say $180,000, $190,000 4 or 5 years ago. People are putting money into those, and people are realizing, hang on, it's actually not that far away from the city still. Those same properties.
So that idea of Airbnb being out, essentially, is a possibility. You know, just because it's proximity, as you said, to the city or to the airport.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I guess I saw parts of Sydney change when I lived in Sydney for a long time. Areas that had been considered very undesirable. Over a period of about 5 to 10 years, people suddenly started to realise they're close to the city, they're on the train line or public transport, or, you know, there's access or there's schools, and suddenly they became really desirable and people started to, as you said, invest some money in renovations.
They were just, it was affordable, and it's now really starting to pick up in terms of its level of interest. So, I'm not saying it's perfect absolutely everywhere, but it's certainly a lot more sought after. Places like that New Haven development that you might see in it. Why wouldn't you want to be there? They look absolutely amazing. So,
and I mean, you've always got the Castle Hill. An area I see that's probably got a lot of potential for growth is Palaranda. So it reminds me a little bit of the Palm Beach, of the northern beaches of Sydney in a bizarre way. That used to be just little beach cottages that people sort of were still close enough to the city. I mean, really, it's only like 10 minutes away, right? It's much closer than Palm Beach was to the city. But you get that idyllic lifestyle. And I know Bernard Salt's been writing quite a few articles that have been shared recently around people choosing to come and live somewhere where they have their lifestyle, because with working from home now, there's a whole different idea of, you know, if potentially you have to spend time at home, you want it to be somewhere nice. And employers are now allowing people to work from home. So
there's no doubt about it. I see.
Why not choose a great location? And Townsville is a great location.
Absolutely. The amount of people that are saying that, you know, they've had these complete culture shifts in their business, realizing that they can do exactly what they would do remotely. Why wouldn't they come? We've got amazing fishing. We have some of the best weather for the majority of the year.
Absolutely. Some great restaurants coming up, some really good events, and yeah, look, I
think that's been a huge shift too. Townsville's starting to get some of these big ticket events that we never had before. So
and fill in with little events in between as well, which is really nice. And it's hard sometimes. A lot of them sell out before you even know they're on. But you know, but it is a really good thing, and it's nice. I mean, we've got Maggie Island, which is the jewel. Do you do much? You don't do much work over on Maggie, do you?
No,
you
not myself. But,
so my next question then is: if you were a family moving to Townsville, what sort of areas would you consider, like with a young family moving?
I absolutely love Mount Louisa because of its central position. But Mount Louisa and Cohen absolutely seem to be. I find that I'm getting the majority of family inquiries in areas like that, but certainly the northern beaches too.
I was going to say that the northern beaches are becoming its own hub, isn't it?
Well, thanks to the ring road, basically places like Bushland Beach, Mount Lowe, we talked about Jensen earlier, and of course Birdell, those areas, they're still very affordable, the homes are very modern.
They are.
But why wouldn't you want to be there? They're so quiet, and everything that you needed to come into the city a little bit more for, you don't really need to now. And even if you do, it's still only 20 minutes away.
I know. And we were talking about, now there's a street in Bushland Beach, I cannot pronounce the name.
Goikichia.
That's the one. You've got homes like Castle Hill on there with the similar views. you know, it's quite remarkable.
Actually, I must show you. I had one in Brewer Court not that long ago, and it was actually purchased by a southerner too, who'd come up and he had sold his property down in a suburb in Sydney that I'd never heard of before.
I probably know it, or maybe not.
I'd have to look it up again. But
right.
yeah, that went for $1.3 million, and all of a sudden
and it was probably a 2-bedroom apartment down in Sydney.
It was a little 3-bedroom house, but still, the place that he bought was essentially a mansion over 2 levels on the side of the hill with a 180-degree panoramic view, and he just said Townsville is exceptional value for money, and more and more of his friends are coming up here now too.
Yeah.
So
now we all know right across the country there's a bit of a housing crisis. There's been an issue with, I guess, new builds. Well, not just new builds. It's actually opening property up so people can actually access it, I guess, too. But you guys have some land at the moment, don't you? And where do you see the idea of people actually purchasing land and building houses on it in the Townsville market at the moment? We have a lot of builders here. There's no question about that, right?
We definitely have a lot of builders here, and some really amazing builders that have been around for a very long time, and now multi-generational builders that are just continuing to do what they do. I think in general, just building brand new, obviously, it's different to what I do on a daily basis.
No, but I mean in so much as opening up more properties, because we obviously have a shortage of. There's a demand supply issue at the moment, especially with rentals. So, you know, so how do we, I guess I'm saying is, you know, is opening up more land one of the solutions? I don't think there's just one, but one of these solutions potentially.
It definitely gives us more opportunity to be able to spread the town out a little bit further. I find obviously the developments south of Townsville are fantastic. There's this shift in that direction, of course. But yeah, certainly those new acreage blocks to the north of Townsville, it's just...
say there's still a lot of land north of Townsville too, isn't there?
There's plenty out there.
I see an opportunity almost for Belle Beach to be the Palm Beach of Townsville. I mean,
why not?
You know, it's one of those areas that I see that maybe because I lived on the northern beaches for about 10 years in Sydney, but it all has that same feel about lifestyle. Those little shacks in Belle Beach still go for not much, you know, for a beachfront property that's only been hit by a cyclone once or twice, you know.
But we have so many opportunities all along the northern beaches, and you're really still not very far out of Townsville. But there is plenty of opportunity out there, and there's people that I know that are buying these properties, and that is their home away from home during our winter period. They call it a summer, but for us it's nice and cool up here for us still. Yeah. So yeah, it's they have their home away from homes that they absolutely love. So
yeah, and look, I know through COVID, some people chose to live here and commute back down there rather than the other way around as well. So I know we're a bit remote, but having our airport and that easy access to be able to fly into all the major cities. It makes it pretty easy. I mean, I know a lot of people who actually live here now and actually work for companies in Melbourne or Sydney, and they just commute a few days a month. Yeah. So, you know, I fell in love with this city. That's why I moved here. Yep. You know, it wasn't ever on my bucket list to come here even. Are you a Townsville boy?
I feel like I am nowadays. I guess I moved here in 1999, so I don't know, it's long enough probably. So tell me. Over half my life now officially.
Over half your life, yeah.
Let you do the maths.
I can't at the moment, sorry. I'm still recovering from holidays and being on deadline at the moment. But tell me, where is your favourite place to eat in town? And I know you've got kids, so sometimes it makes it hard to get out. Tell me your favourite place with kids and your favourite place without kids.
Oh, with our kids, I personally am a big fan of the Bridgewater. I think it's definitely...
They just got had it again, so that's actually pretty cool too. So we've got some restaurants doing some really good things.
Yeah, there's something about it. There's always something new to try. I don't think I've ever eaten something that I don't absolutely love there. Yeah. The kids are so simple. They are... It sounds crazy, but we hadn't been to Hog's Breath for such a long time. Yeah. We went out for the first time to Hog's Breath out in Willows there, and the kids just were in love all over again. So,
perfect, and that's what it is with kids too, isn't it? If they're happy, you're happy.
There's an atmosphere that they don't stop looking around the whole time,
checking everything out. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sean, for coming along. People, you can check out some of the properties that they've got now. on the market section as well. So every month they pop some properties in there that you can check out. But thank you very much, Sean,
No problem.
For coming along today and filling in for Ella, actually. So she got out of it. You got the hot seat.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you making the time.
Too easy. Not a problem.